Missing Bible study?
Yep. Go every Wednesday.
Mom okay with that?
She's gonna have to be. It's you.
Could have studied last night.
I did. But you can't just study for 1 day. You need the whole week. You need the whole week.
All right, here we go. Practice test 3. We are ready for practice test 3. All right, so we're going to solve using substitution. Guys, we know how to do this.
Yes, ma'am.
So we need to get one of these by itself. It doesn't make any difference. So I'm going to go ahead and just say x equals negative y. And then that means I'm going to put negative y in right there. So 2 times negative y plus 3y equals negative 1. Are we all paying attention? So I have y equal to negative 1. That's what I got. Y equals negative 1. And then I plug that back in. And if I plug in negative 1, negative 1 is positive 1. And then, of course, if I have time to check my answer, I can always put in a 1 and a negative 1 and make sure that it works out the way it's supposed to, right? These are easy to check if you have time. All right, now, elimination. What do I do when I eliminate? I have to make something match, right?
Yep.
So it probably seems like this is always the case. Seems like it'd be easier just to multiply this one by negative 3.
Yep.
You don't have to do that. There are other things you can do, but you've got to do something so that when you add your equations together, one of the letters cancels out. It does not have to be y, but something has to cancel out. Remember that when you multiply, in this case by negative 3, it's all across. So that's why I have a negative 9, a negative 3, and a positive 15. So negative 7x equals 7, and it looks like x equals negative 1. Then I do exactly what I did over here. I take that negative 1, which is an x, and plug it in somewhere in one of these equations, plug in negative 1. So if I put it in right here, negative 2 plus 3y equals negative 8. I put in negative 1 right here. So 3y equals negative 6, and it looks like my y is negative 2. And again, if you have time, after you finish the whole test, you can come back and check that by plugging those in and making sure they work out. And then we have Kramer's rule. Now remember, you gotta show your work here, kids. No work, no credit. I think that's a 1. I got that word there. Okay, so Kramer's rule now. Kramer's rule. So I'll build a determinant with the x's and the y's. So 2, 3, negative 1, 5. Everybody okay with that? Okay. Then I'm going to evaluate that. So Luke, remember, 10 minus negative 3. Remember how that works? Now, what is that 13? Is that my answer? No, but that is part of the answer. It is the denominator for x and y. Now, to find my x numerator, these are the x's right here. Right here, these are the x's. I'm going to cut out the 7 and the 1 and put them right here. So that's going to be a 7 and a 1 right here, and then of course my negative 1 and 5. 35 minus negative 1. I got 36.
Yep.
That looks familiar. Okay, and then y? Same thing, right?
2 and 3.
Only I cut my 7 and my 1 out and put them right here. So I'm going to have my 2 and my 3, and my 7 and my 1, and I got negative 19. Did you?
Yep.
And page 1 is done, or I don't know whether this will be your page 1 or not,
This is
but
fine.
that page will be done.
Oh, we can.
All right, we good on that? Okay, next page. Here we have all of the different operations, all of the different things we can do with matrices, like adding and multiplying. So this should be another easy page if you remember your rules. So that's why we're gonna practice tonight, make sure we remember the rules. Okay, A
Times D. We can do that.
times D.
We can do that.
With multiplication, you should always start by making sure you can do it. All right, so what are our dimensions here?
2 by 3.
2 by 3. What are our dimensions here?
3 by 3.
Since these match, I can do it. And my answer will be another 2 by 3. Now, there's a lot to keep track of here because we have a lot of numbers. To fill this spot, right here where I'm pointing, that's going to be row 1 and column 1. So we write down our row numbers, 1, 2, -1. Some of you try to do this in your head, and you can, but sometimes it's helpful to write it down. 1, 2, -1, that's row 1. Now match it up with column 1. See how that works? And then do the math. So it looks like, remember, times 0 is 0. So it looks like that's a 7. Nod or shake?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, what's this one? Row 1, column 2. So I go back to row 1. And this time I'm gonna pair it up with 2, 2, 1, column 2. So 2 and 4 is 6.
This one?
Minus 1, did you get 5?
I was supposed to do it separate.
1 plus 6
Plus 6.
plus 0.
Let's go.
Yep, you got 5.
Wait,
5?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And finally, we're still in row 1, so we're still using 1, 2, -1, but now you're matching it up with column 3. So -1, 1, 2.
-1.
That's what I got, -1. All right, now you work on row 2. You're gonna do exactly what we just did, except you're gonna be using 0, 3, 4. And you're gonna use it 3 times because you have to find 3 numbers down there. All right, so go, see what you can come up with. How do those numbers look, 9, 10, 11? Everybody okay with that? So we're good for multiplication. All right, B, C plus 2A. I heard somebody say, yeah, why not? They're not the same size, right? They're not the same size. So in order to add or subtract, they have to be the same dimensions. They don't need to be square, but they have to have the same dimensions. And C and A do not. So B is a no can do. How about C? 2B minus 3C. Is that going to be possible? Yep, it is. So 2B minus 3C. They are both 2 by 2s. All right, so how do we do 2B? What does that look like, 2B?
-2, 4, 6, and 2.
Everybody okay with that? Now be careful with this one. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the minus there. And if I leave the minus there, I am multiplying by 3, right? If you want to multiply by -3, that's okay, but then that becomes a plus. All right, so you have to decide, doesn't matter. I'm going to leave it a minus, and I'm going to times by 3. So I have -6, 6, 15, and 3. So I multiplied this matrix, B or C, whatever that is, I multiplied that by 3. Now I'm going to subtract. So -2 minus -6.
4.
4 minus 6.
-2.
6 minus 15.
-9.
9. And 2 minus 3. There we go. All right, B inverse. So just pause for a second, organize your thoughts. B inverse. What are our steps? Here's B. What are our steps? How do we find the inverse? What do we need to do? I do a couple things.
Find the determinant.
Find the determinant. So the determinant will be -1 minus 6, -7.
New
Right?
matrix.
Then what?
New matrix.
New matrix. And that will be found by flipping these two. Now they happen to be the same number, one positive, one negative, but I'm actually flip-flopping these. So the 1 goes here and the -1 goes here.
Changing the signs.
He becomes negative and she becomes negative.
Yep.
Then what?
Then you put it over a negative.
All of those new numbers get divided by -7. And then my answer is whatever that is simplified. So that would be -1/7,
3, 7.
positive 2/7,
3, 7.
positive 3/7, and positive 1/7. Anybody have a question about that? -2b, can I do that? -2 times b, is that possible?
Yes.
And that would just be
2.
2, -4, -6, -2. Remember, that just distributes through the whole matrix. B times D does not look promising, because what are the dimensions of B?
2 by 2.
2 by 2.
Times it 3
What
by
are the dimensions of D? 3 by 3. And what's the rule? these have to match. Benny, you okay back there?
Yeah, I was supposed to be on that field trip and I was just trying to figure it out. But,
Yeah. Yeah, Mrs. Mills says it's fine for you to be in class. I don't know anything about it.
it's like a dab or what.
Math is so much better than that. Okay. All right, here we go, number 5. This is a big one. Who remembers how we do number 5?
Rewrite the first two rows.
We rewrite the first 2 columns,
Yep, that's what
and these are columns. So 1, 0, 4, -1, 3, -2. Right? And then we start multiplying. So multiply, multiply, multiply. And add all those up. So I got a 9, a -4, and a 0. Right? Then I turn around and go the other way. So this is a, what, 24?
24. -2.
And minus 2
Plus
and 0. So that one's a 22.
5 minus 22.
And then what do I do with that last, what was the last step then?
5 minus.
Subtract.
Yep.
So 5 minus 22. And guys, it has to be, is that -17?
Yep.
It has to be 5 minus 22. It's this minus this. All right, do it in the right order. All right, here we go. 6. This is your vocab section. Is B square?
No.
No, why not? You gotta put an answer down. Why isn't it square?
It doesn't have.
See the why or why not there? You have to answer that. It doesn't have the same dimensions. The dimensions don't match. What does square mean? 5 by 5, n by n. You can't be 3 by 4 and be square. What is b sub 2, 3?
-2.
What?
-2.
-2. What does b sub 2, 3 mean?
Second row.
Second row,
Third column.
third column. Second row, third column. And the number that's in second row, third column is -2. What are the dimensions of b?
3 by
3 by 4? 3 by 4? What's a scalar? It's a real number. It's a number like a coefficient, right? It's a real number. Matrix, that one's in your notes. You're gonna look that one up, memorize it. It is on the test. It has been on every practice test. In fact, all these have, right? What are the numbers in the matrix called? Entries, or there's another word you could use, it's up to you. Entries is fine, entries is fine. You could also call them elements. They're entries or elements. Either word is fine. Okay. Now, up to this point, everything's been easy. Let's study and have confidence. This one we can do. Now, the word problem, these can be a little bit challenging. Let's see what progress we can make. Tomorrow, even if you don't think you're right, keep going. Because you get points for everything you do. So, missing some lines in there, draw some lines in there. Okay, here we go. you're about to take a test that contains type A questions and type B questions. The type A are worth 10 points. Where does the 10 go? Worth
Number.
10 points.
Oh, value.
That's the value, isn't it? You
Yep.
say something is worth, that's its value. And B are worth 25.
Value 25.
Now, this problem has fixed interval, right? It's right there. You know it has a fixed interval, okay? Which means you're gonna have X between something and Y between something. That's what fixed intervals are. Now, what do I know about X? If X is type A, what do I know about it? You have to do at least 3, but you can't do more than 12. So what does that mean? X is between 3 and 12. And remember, fixed intervals get graphed. So that's gonna be one of your constraints. You're gonna graph that in a minute. Alright? You must do at least 4 B's, but not more than 15. Okay, you have to do at least 4 B's, but not more than 15. So what does that tell me about this fixed interval? 4 and 15. And we're gonna graph those in a second. But there's one more thing that needs graphed,
Wow.
because there's another number in the problem. 20.
Total.
You, in total, you can do no more than 20 questions.
Total number.
Total number is 20. So what thing am I gonna graph for that row right there? X plus Y, watch it.
Less than or equal.
No more than 20. Does that mean less than 20 or greater than 20?
Less.
Less than or equal to 20. Why does it matter? Because that's what tells me how to shade, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I wanna get that right. If you wanna include these, you can. They aren't required in this problem. Probably not a bad idea, just include them. All right, what's the point of the problem? What are we trying to do?
Find the value of.
I wanna maximize my score. And how is my score calculated?
10x.
10x.
25.
Plus 25y. Alright, here we go. One letter X. Where are my hash marks here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then remember, if it's only one letter, you're just doing hash marks. Just extend your hash marks. And where will I shade that? There's 2 lines I drew there. Where will that be shaded?
In between.
In between. So right now we're looking here. Our answer's in here somewhere. All right, how about this guy? Same exact thing, one letter. Only this time I'm gonna hash mark on my y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'll extend those hash marks. And where is the orange shaded? In between. So I'm between the green, between the orange, which means I'm in this box right here. Right, you should have a nice little box.
Now you got 20.
And now I got to draw this one in on top of the whole shebang. Now that has 2 letters, so I do one at a time. If X is 0, Y is 20. And if Y is 0, X is 20. So how about this 20 in both directions? And we are used to having to extend our graph. is the pink shaded?
Down.
Down. Now remember, we were already in the box, right? We gotta be in the box. But now we have to be in the box under the pink. So in the box under the pink. How does that look to everybody?
Good.
Okay? Now, what?
Apply your points.
Now I gotta figure out what my points are. So tomorrow, let's say you're not sure about this. Graph what you have, all right? It might be wrong, but graph what you have. And then even if your picture's wrong, find the points for your picture. So I can give you credit for doing each step, even if somewhere along the line you made a mistake. You understand what I'm saying? Do not leave this problem blank. Don't leave it blank. You have to get as much down as you can. Maybe you do miss something here. But if you graph what you've got and you find your points and answer the question, you're gonna get almost full credit. You're gonna miss a little bit for whatever mistake you made. So jump in and go. All right, what are these points? Well, this one's super simple. What's this one?
315.
This one is 315. What's this one?
34.
34. What's this one?
12.4.
12.4. And that's it for the super simple ones, but the rest of them aren't too bad. What do I know about this point right here? Now look, it's on this green line, so what do I know about it?
The X is 12.
The X is 12. But if we're on pink, we have to add up to 20. So if we already know that X is 12, then Y has to be 8. And similarly for this one,
15.
he's on an orange line, so we know Y is 15. But he's on pink, so he has to add up to 20, so X is 5. That okay?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so let me make a list of my points, and then what do I do? Plug them in. And the highest one wins. This is a maximum problem. You have to pay attention to that. Sometimes we've had minimum problems. Maximum, so the highest one wins. And these are the X's and the Y's. And this is where they're getting plugged in, right here. That's where they're getting plugged in.
I have 405 for the second.
I got 425. Is that what you said? I did this one first. 405.
Yeah.
Which one's right?
I don't know if I plugged it in.
I still get 425.
Or I got 5 for the 3 and 15.
3 and 15?
Yeah, I had that on top of my paper.
Yeah, yeah. And that's fine. The order doesn't matter.
Yeah, I got 405. 10 times 3 and then.
This one's 405.
Oh, yeah.
The order you write it down doesn't matter.
I got 130 for the 50.
Yeah. You get 220 for that one. And 320 for that one.
Yep.
I'm gonna double check. I don't know.
220. Yeah. Yeah, those all look good.
Alright, then we write our answer, one sentence.
He should.
What are we gonna do?
He should
He should do
do 5
type A questions
15 type B.
and 15 type B questions
for a score of
for a score of 425. with some of that, just get some of it you can do. Just write down some stuff, wrap it, see what happens. Alright, now we need our calculators, now we'll get our big calculators out. And we will remember to get maximum points. To get maximum points, you guys, you need to write down the matrix that goes in. So you're gonna write down the matrix that goes in. You're gonna tell me what you're doing and write the matrix that comes out. And then you're going to write your you will miss points, partial points, if you don't write that down. So just write that down. Now be careful when you're putting in your in matrix here. This time we have E, F, G, H, and then our equals number over here. So keep everything lined up. I have my in matrix slip. Did I get my zeros in the right spot?
Yep.
Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get it in, RREF it. And let's see if Mrs. Ford rigged this one. I think I did. Because I got nice, neat answers. Too good to be true. I think I did it right. I'll just write down my answer. Make sure you can type it in.
4
and
negative
get that.
2 0.
Now, what happens if the one on the test you get isn't rigged? What happens if these things, you do everything right, but this comes out crazy answers?
Press math.
Math frac, that's right. And that will change them into fractions, and then you can just write down those fractions as your answer.
What time is it out here?
We don't leave at 25, do we?
Huh?
So we don't leave at 25, do we?
I think so, with math.
Oh,
Okay?
but that's after the class, right?
Now,
No, it's after the next one.
Yes.
That's that?
We got to get
alright, so, are we completely clear on, this one for Benny. Are we completely clear on what
We don't always write
the expectation is for our test?
Oh, yeah. That's I'm getting there. I just gotta practice on this. These are cool.
So Miss Ford, if we do everything, RREF and all that, and then we don't put the order pair, it'll be.
I've got to remember.
A little bit, not a lot, but a little.
Wait, are those the only 3 vocabs that are going to be on there?
Oh, okay.
Or is it different ones?
It's all that vocab list that
That's
we
like
have in
right
our
here?
notes.
Yeah.
Right here?
That's what you need to know.
Okay.
Equal matrices.
Now, my guess would be
what's this?
that if it's been on the practice
What's this
test,
Yeah, you have it 3
it's
times.
for sure,
Okay.
What's this word?
it's for sure.
Win, lose, or draw, I gotta catch them all.
Look,
Alright, well, we're about out of time, cause we
I
have a
said,
short
you
meeting
did
today.
that.
That's enough.
How about that?